Minos pilot, but since we couldn't take these birds out for a spin while the Condottiero was in transit, you might be a bit rusty. What's more, this model of Minos is different. We've added a few new modifications, a warp drive being the biggest one. I've set up some targets to bring us back up to speed. This shouldn't take too long, and you'll need to be at peak performance for the rest of our tour of duty. Head to the first warp gate.
Game paused.
Contractor, I know you're an experienced Minos pilot, but since we couldn't take these birds out for a spin while the Condottiero was in transit, you might be a bit rusty. What's more, this model of Minos is different. We've added a few new modifications, a warp drive being the biggest one. I've set up some targets to bring us back up to speed. This shouldn't take too long, and you'll need to be at peak performance for the rest of our tour of duty. Head to the first warp gate. Now, let's test the afterburners. The new Minos has a thrust capacitor to prevent the engines from overheating. Boost a couple of times to become familiar with the limiter's cooldown time. Time to test your ship's weapons. Pull the primary fire trigger to fire the energy cannons. Let's see if you can eliminate your first enemy in the Tartarian theater, the fearsome cargo container. Fantastic. I'm sure the independents of Tartarus fear you already. Head to Warp Gate 3. I've got a bit of a surprise for you. And it isn't more cargo containers. The Minos is equipped with a missile launcher and I've just disabled its safety, as well as the flight inhibitors on 3 captured Liberation fighters. You wanted a warm-up, and today's your lucky day. The lock. Hold your gaze on the target. The reticle will turn red when the lock has been acquired. Pull the secondary fire trigger to fire. Nice shooting, contractor. Looks like you'll be able to look after yourself out here. Now prepare to jump out. Your ship's warp drive is triangulated by mission control. It's the only way to get the warp drive to work in these fighters. To jump, align your ship with the warp vector. Report to debriefing after arrival.
Our scanners have reported a warp gate being used frequently by the Tartarus Liberation Front. We have reason to believe they are up to something that would disrupt our hold on the sector. Our last sweep of the system indicated there was still a small wing of TLF fighters in the area. Jump in, scan the area, and report back.
Welcome to 34 Cabanos, contractor. An M-Class star with an extensive belt system. Our last scan indicates that at least one TLF fighter is still in the area. I've marked out 3 waypoints for you to investigate. Navigate through the belt until you reach the last waypoint. Alpha 2 will be accompanying you. Stay alert and find your target. We're picking up a high-velocity object in your sensors. Close call. Though there isn't really much to do about dodging those if one has your name on it. Maintain your burn toward the next waypoint. It's just an empty cargo container. Keep moving. Electromagnetic signature detected. TLF fighter detected. Looks like we've found our intruder. Time to earn your pay, contractor. Be advised, warp gate activation detected. You have an additional. Make that multiple enemy contacts. contact. Professional work, pilots. Align your ship with the warp vector to sync with the Condottiero Indigo Lima. We'll send the team in to investigate what the Tartarus Liberation was doing in this system.
Illegal mining has been reported in the crystal fields of the Thanatos system. No one steals from the UTC. Find them and destroy them.
Two illegal miners have been spotted in the Thanatos crystal field. These crystals are extremely rare and are used in the creation of warp gates and drives. What you see before you is part of two major crystal accumulations that formed millennia ago around the binary planetary system known as Nyx and Erebos. Destroy the miners before they can escape and sell off what they stole. Targets in range. Don't let them escape. They know every ounce counts. The last thing we need is for the crystal fragments to fall into the wrong hands. accomplished, pilot. Miners and cargo eliminated. Head back for debrief. Your ship's warp drive is suffering from interference, so you'll have to use the warp gate. Make your way there. We've received troubling news. One of our spies reports that the Resistance has a warp drive prototype. He'll be extracting the prototype and meeting you at a rendezvous point. Return to base, contractor. Your next mission will follow shortly. It's an ambush. Brace for an attack. We see 5 enemy fighters on your scanners. Responsible for the interference. Clearly they understand the importance of this crystal field and aren't ready to give it up without a fight. Let's make sure they don't get another opportunity. But we need you for another mission. Return to the Condottiero for debriefing.
We lost contact with our agent in the Uprise system. He was carrying the warp drive prototype stolen from the TLF. We need you to check the coordinates of his last distress signal and retrieve the device, if it's still intact.
While you were in debrief, our agent successfully stole the TLF warp drive prototype. Unfortunately for him, the ship he escaped in was rigged with a remote self-destruct. We suspect the cargo was also remotely ejected, and need you to ensure that the Resistance does not get the device back. Beating them there shouldn't be an issue since they'll have to use the warp gate network. Lucky for us, this is where our new Minos prototype allows a distinct advantage. Getting you in a system before our enemies without putting the carrier at risk. That ends if the Tartarus Liberation Front achieves a working prototype.
Scanning. Scanning. Empty. Scanning.
Warp signatures detected. Looks like the TLF scouts have arrived. That prototype is UTC intellectual property. If they're so interested in our intellectual property, oblige them. Your trigger finger is resting on some.
Scanning.
Bingo. That's gotta be it. Grab it and go before more of the TLF show up. The additional mass is too much for the small warp drive of your Minos. My mission control ship is sitting just a small distance from the AO. We're warping to you. Sit tight. Meet Onager Alpha, the Condottiero's mission control fighter. Rendezvous and transfer the device. Step on it. This ship isn't meant for combat. chopper boarded. Further scans indicate the device is a bomb. Keep the fighters at bay while we disable the device. Has been neutralized. I suspect this whole shindig was a ploy to oust our agent. I doubt they've even made enough progress to make a prototype. Warp out, contractor. We'll be right behind you.
Instead of constantly responding to threats, it's time to take the fight to the enemy. You'll be visiting the TLF side station that our agent was stationed on before he perished, destroying the communications array and making way for UTC boarding parties. I'm looking forward to this.
This is the Liberation Front side station in which our agent was embedded before he perished. The local nebula interferes with communications, so external comms relays are required. Obviously, the message will get out that one ship is raiding the external platforms. What we don't want immediately advertised are the boarding parties will be sending to capture the station immediately after you complete your mission. Destroy the arrays and take their voice. Expect fighter intercept from the local station and defensive emplacements near the relays. Just one left. All comm arrays have been eliminated. Your skirmish was broadcast, but they won't know the extent of it. The next time the Resistance checks out the station, they'll get a nasty surprise. Warp out. Our boarding parties will be sent in shortly. Relay that, Contractor. The nebula is interfering with Indigo Lima's ability to coordinate your warp drive. You'll need to use the warp gate.
Intel recovered from a captured facility has revealed that a factory in the Ankau system is being used by the TLF. Capital ships were dispatched to destroy it, but dropped out of warp early due to what we assume to be warp drive jammers around the factory. Destroy any warp disruption devices.
In a previous operation, we recovered intel which indicated that this factory is being used by the TLF to produce warp drive components. We need you to destroy any warp disruption devices so that our capital ships can arrive. We expect resistance to be fierce, so stealth is advised. Flying through the asteroid should be enough to throw off the long-range scanners, but do it quickly before their short-range sensors pick you up. If you're detected, expect heavy fighter interception. Heads up, you've been detected. Destroy the jammers and get back to the warp gate as quickly as possible. Good effect on target. One more warp jammer to go. Now that the facility's gone loud, we can't lock on to your ship's signal. You must use the warp gate. Be advised, the warp gate reports used by a destroyer-class capital ship. Evade it and make it to the gate safely.
Hull critical.
During a mission for a separate group of fighters launched by the Indigo Lima, the freighter Onager Bravo, which also acts as an on-site command and control ship, had a warp drive malfunction. The mission control ship is usually placed close enough to allow real-time communication, but far enough away to allow it plenty of safety. However, the repairs required have allowed a TLF wing to reach it. Jump in with Alpha 2 and save Onager Bravo.
During a mission for a separate group of fighters launched by the Indigo Lima, the freighter Onager Bravo had a warp drive malfunction while performing mission control duties. This allowed a TLF wing of fighters to reach the Onager before it could escape. Eliminate those fighters and protect the Onager. Liberation bombers incoming. Attacking those ships is your top priority. Defend Onager Bravo at all costs. I don't want to see another torpedo so much as peek its head out of one of those bombers' bays. Do your job. The drive has been repaired and the fuel line is being reconnected. It won't be too much longer now. Reconnected. The reboot sequence has been initiated. We need to buy Onager Bravo a little more time. repairs completed and the Onager Bravo is warping. Well done, contractor. Return to base and head to debriefing.
Once again, it's time we take the fight to the enemy. A Liberation carrier has been found, and we believe it's too distant for significant reinforcements to arrive in time. Destroy it. This will be a significant blow to the capabilities of the Tartarus Liberation Front.
The Liberation carrier LSAT 129 is ahead of you. TLF reinforcements will be relatively minimal as they have ventured too far from their main force. This is our opportunity to strike a major blow to the already limited offensive capabilities of the Resistance. Eliminating this carrier will help us contain the threat. Remind them of their two options: unity or death. Power generators are starting to overheat. Shields are down, contractor. LSAT 129 is now vulnerable to attack. Put them out of their misery. Wait for them. The carrier is destroyed. Mop up the remaining TLF fighters. All enemy forces destroyed. This is a significant blow to the Tartarus Liberation Front. As long as we continue to curb their offensive capabilities, this war will be completely on our terms. Capital-class ships like this are expensive to make.
The UTC handles stereoform.
The Summerport terraforming facility was severely damaged by a TLF raid. We managed to beat them back, but it won't be long before the Vultures return to try and finish the job. Defend the repair crews while they repair the station, and make sure Summerport doesn't take any more damage if those scum return. Contacts. Looks like a small Vanguard force trying to probe our defenses. Keep those repair crews safe. TLF fighters have just arrived. Don't let them touch that repair team. Cavalry has arrived. Our frigate and their little friends will help take care of that destroyer. Another repair team. Keep them safe as they make their way to the station. Have arrived at the station. Keep the TLF off their backs while they get that station back online. That TLF destroyer is space dust. Nice work, team. Well done, contractor. The TLF force has been wiped out, and the repair sewers of the station back online. Warp on out of there and get back to the hangar.
The UTC destroyer Malevolence was making a routine sector scan when we lost contact. Investigate the last known location of the Malevolence and determine what happened to the ship and her crew.
Careful, contractor. It looks like you've warped right into a minefield. This is where we lost contact with the Malevolence. Judging by all the debris, I think we can guess what happened here. I've enabled the long-wave UTC emergency hailing frequencies. Let's see if there's anyone left alive on that thing.
Vector of the UTC destroyer Malevolence. We came out of warp right into this minefield. The Malevolence has been disabled, but we've sealed the hull breaches and basic life support systems are still functional. We'll need some repairs before we can get moving again.
Roger, Malevolence. We're dispatching a repair team. Contractor, provide cover for the Malevolence while the repair crew is en route. And start clearing out some of those mines. I don't like the look of this. That damage looks pretty extensive. Our repair crew has just arrived. Escort the repair crew to the Malevolence and clear the mines out of their way. This class of ship. It looks like some kind of advanced heavy starfighter. But where did they get the resources and technology for something like that? I knew this fighters and a couple of cruisers. Let's finish off these TLF scum and get out of here.
Two TLF destroyers have been...
It's time to pay the TLF back for that little trap they tried to spring on the Malevolence. The destroyer is back online, and Captain Vander Vector doesn't appreciate being used as bait. There are two TLF destroyers in this sector with a full complement of fighters. Your first task is to lure those fighter squadrons back to our cruiser and away from the destroyers. Get their attention, bring them back to the cruiser, and then crush them. Once the destroyers have caught up and committed to the fight, the Malevolence will arrive to spring the trap. reinforcements. Nothing you shouldn't be able to handle. RTLF reinforcements have arrived. Looks like they've sent in some more of those heavy fighters and they're going after our cruiser. We're sending in some minus reinforcements.
This is Captain Ben.
Looks like you've got their attention. Let them chase you back to our cruiser and then pick them off. I wouldn't get too close to those destroyers yet. You won't stand a chance and you'll ruin our little surprise. Reinforcements have arrived. Looks like they've sent in some more of those heavy fighters and they're going after our cruiser. Hang tight. Another squad of Minos fighters is inbound. RTLF reinforcements have arrived. Looks like they've sent in some more of those heavy fighters and they're going after our cruiser. We're sending in some minus reinforcements. sent in some more of those heavy fighters and they're going after our cruiser. The Malevolence has been destroyed. Mission failed, contractor.
Our intel has located the T.
The TLF research station that produces those new heavy starfighters is just ahead. Destroy it along with any TLF forces you encounter. Be aware that the TLF have retrofitted that station with defensive weapon systems. It looks like the TLF have fitted some kind of warp gate under that research station. We're reading some very high-energy warp signals coming from that gate. We must have caught them in the middle of some kind of test. We've never seen stable warp signatures with that much energy before. What could they be up to? Whatever it is, you better take out that station before we find out the hard way. Here come their fighter squadrons. Watch out, they're sending in more of those heavy starfighters.